a KQED television production.
I'm telling you right now, I am hungry.
Check Please Bay Area is made possible by the members of KQED and by
Redwood Credit Union, community banking for the North Bay and San Francisco. Business and personal, online and mobile, plus nationwide ATMs. Banking for people who call this place home.
Sutter Health CPMC announcing its newly opened Mission Bernal Hospital with all private rooms and comprehensive labor and delivery services. SutterHealth.org/Mission Bernal. Total Wine & More, offering more than 8,000 wines, 2,500 beers, and 3,000 spirits. Total Wine & More, now with 8 Bay Area locations. TotalWine.com. IRG has thousands of surfaces in stock now. Surfaces, selection, service. IRG at MarbleCompany.com. Oakland International Airport, now with flights all over the world. iFlyOAK.com.
Hi, I'm Leslie Sbrocco. Welcome to Check Please Bay Area, the show where regular Bay Area residents review and talk about their favorite restaurants. Now we have 3 guests and each one recommends one of their favorite spots and the other 2 go check them out to see what they think. First, salon owner and hairstylist Frida Gazzaro loves to travel. She makes time for one big trip a year to taste her way around the world, exploring everything from spicy frog's legs in China to pasture-fed lamb in Iceland. She encourages all to follow in her footsteps and venture out to experience new eateries with unique flavors. And Vice Mayoral Chief of Staff Frances Hebert began her career in politics as a teenager. Now she's managing policy and events, which requires coordination, diplomacy, and the good palate that her grandfather helped her cultivate. But first, as part of his job, music promoter Andrew Dowd Riley walks the streets of San Francisco, discovering new spots along the way. Case in point is a little gem with fragrant dishes hailing from the Himalayas. The food draws him in, but it's the warm welcome from the owner that brings him back to Cuisine of Nepal restaurant.
Between India and China, there is a little tiny country called Nepal. Where is the Mount Everest? Is in Nepal. There we go. I was up on the mountain, climbing, hiking, cooking, food for trekkers, all the way up to 26,000 feet. And all the trekkers said, "Hey, Prem, we love your food." And day by day, I call myself, I'm a chef. That's the way I started. My name is Chef Prem Tamam. I run this little restaurant called Cuisine of Nepal restaurant. I always take advice from my trekkers friend. I still have hundreds of friends here. They are the ones supporting me to be here today. I never forgot their help. When I got an opportunity to come to the United States back in '95, friends wants me to be chef. That was my goal, and I listened to them, and that's where I'm here today. I'm so proud. I want to open my own restaurant, and I try my best cooking and try to create my own dishes authentic way, and making all the customers happy. Hi, Chef Prem Tamam. We love your food. I love your food. That's why I'm here again. That's all I need. When they said that, I never feel tired.
All right, Andrew, I really want to talk about the Cuisine of Nepal and really Chef Prem. He's the star, huh?
He is the star. Yeah, it was kind of my first foray into Nepalese food. Kind of stumbled upon this place. I have friends that live in the neighborhood. Very unassuming place. Went in, were quickly greeted by Chef Prem very warmly. First thing he recommended to us was the momos, which is a steamed, similar to an Asian dumpling or pot sticker, not fried, a little bit lighter. They have a selection of beers from the region. We got some Taj Mahal. Comes out with 2 tall frosty glasses, which can't go wrong with that. That's how beer should be served. The cashew chicken curry is, besides Chef Prem, probably the other star.
Right.
of the place. Much less spiced and much creamier. I have to get that every time. Get some naan to go with it to sop up every last bit of the cream sauce that's on there. And then we also ordered one of the sizzling platters, which they have several kinds. We got salmon. They also have shrimp, pork rib, chicken, just depends on what you feel like.
Frida, what did you have when you
I
went?
had the chicken cashew curry, which was so good. It was so yummy. The chicken was nice and tender, and it was all white chicken.
Yep.
And the fresh garlic naan that you dip in the sauce was exceptional. And I got the eggplant curry, which was so good. It was like more of a tomato base, which was the best. And I had the garbanzo with the same kind of tomato curry base, but it was just good. And when you walk in, it's just the smell of barbecue and sweet marinade. And it tingles your nose, so you kind of like sneeze a little. But it was
Sneeze a little.
So
Well, the cuisine is
so
typically,
good.
it's sort of Northern Indian influenced, of course, but it's not as heavy in terms of cream and
Exactly.
dairy and maybe a little less spicy. So you're still getting the tingly.
But I did think it was very spicy, which I love. I thought it was great. But you get the option between like medium or like super spicy. And I
Chef
think
Prem
about, like, regular
always will
spicy.
come up to the table, sometimes after if it's your first time, but ask you how was the spice, and we'll have a good conversation with you.
Yeah,
at the same
he was
time.
great. I loved. Great choice. It was so good.
Thank you.
Francis.
wonderful.
I wish I would have got the cashew chicken. I was able to get the set meal for 4, and I had 2 young boys with me who were adventurous in their cuisine.
Right.
And so we ended up getting the sizzling chicken platter as part of the set meal, which was fantastic with the bell peppers and the onions and just the right amount of spice. And
And I think that's a lot more affordable too if you do it that way.
it was.
You get a
It was
little more.
about $25 per person, and it came with free drinks for the kids and free wine, and
Yeah.
it was good. It was actually really, sometimes house wines don't always live up, but
Right,
this one
yeah.
was really good.
Right.
We were sat right away in the hallway section of the restaurant. This is
Yeah, it's
also
kind of shotgun
interesting.
style.
Yeah, it is.
Quite
It is shotgun
is.
style.
Yeah, and you sit on the little handmade pillows that they have that my son enjoyed a lot. We also ordered 2 appetizers. We had the fried vegetable platter for 4 people and the little dumplings.
The momos.
Yeah, the momos. I did find that they weren't as spicy as I had hoped. They had a curry vegetable paste inside of them. So we had a little salt and mixed in some other sauces around. But they were gone by the end of the night. So it must
your
mean
kids like
something.
them?
They loved them. The vegetable platter, which is it's robust vegetable platter for 4 people, they dusted them off. And the mango drinks were gone by the end of the night. I was able to take food home and have it the next day, which was a fantastic lunch.
The samosas are also excellent.
Oh,
for
the samosas were
appetizers as well.
so
got
good.
those as well?
I got the samosas. They were delicious. They had the same filling as the dumplings.
Yeah.
But it was kind of more of like the samosa, flaky, harder
Fried
crust,
versus
fried.
onion
Talk a
rice.
little bit about Chef, because his story is really incredible. I mean, he learned how to cook while being basically a Sherpa in the Himalayas, right?
Exactly. Such a warm guy. You feel like you're eating at like a family member's house. He comes up to every table, checks in on you several times.
A lot of food for a very small price, I think. It was
Yeah.
definitely a value for a family.
All right, this is
Definitely.
your spot. Wrap it up for us.
Very unassuming, warm spot, the star being Chef Prem, and that's what brings me back again and again.
All right, and Frida.
A hidden gem in Bernal Heights with fantastic food.
All right, and Francis.
A hallway in the wall instead of a hole
That's good.
that has great flavors.
All right, if you would like to try Cuisine of Nepal restaurant, it's on Mission Street at Cortland in San Francisco. The telephone number is 415-647-2222. It's open for lunch and dinner Tuesday through Sunday. Reservations are recommended, and the average dinner tab per person without drinks is around $30. Mexico City is one of Frida Garzaro's favorite dining destinations. But now there's a little spot in her town of Menlo Park serving up some of the same flavors in a setting accented with colorful walls, a vibrant patio, and great cocktails. It's her happy place. And it's called Mama Coco, Cocina Mexicana.
So Mama Coco comes from the inspiration of my grandma. She was from Mexico City and she raised 12 kids by herself. I grew up in the kitchen, cooking, smelling the spices, One of my dreams was for me to show her that one day we can have a restaurant with her name on it. And my husband and I met, and we actually shared the same passion about food.
And this is here, my dream coming true.
We told our grandma, Mama Coco, that we want to open a place. She told us that it's a rule that you have to follow as a Mexican. You have to keep your family together. You have to have your love and passion for what you do. You have to put those Mexican flavors on every single dish. And most important, you have to have your traditions.
The food we have here is 70% recipe from Mama Coco. So I put a little bit, I put 30%. I change it a little
Not so
bit.
spicy though.
Not, I think that's right.
Everybody here, we consider it as a family. Our own kids come and help us once in a while too. Mama Coco passed away a few months before we had the grand opening. We couldn't show her the place, but we feel her love all the time, and I know she's proud of us.
Yeah.
I know.
All right, Frida, let's talk about this place. I mean, this is a family-owned and family-run spot,
Right,
isn't
yeah,
it?
exactly.
And that, hence the name.
Mama Coco.
That's right.
Yes.
Right.
It's wonderful. I love it. So I went to Mexico City last summer, and I'm Latin, so I know good Latin food, and I usually get the huarache. The huarache, translated to English, means sandal. So it's in the shape of a sandal. So it's in layers. So the first layer is refried beans. And I usually get beef, so carne asada, and then like diced up tomatoes, lettuce, sour cream, and then a homemade tomato sauce, like a spicy salsa. And it's just so good. So the huarache is deep fried, and it's crunchy and deep fried and soft on the inside, and it's so flavorful with the beef.
She said deep fried like 3 times. You like deep fried.
Anything deep fried.
Doesn't.
Anything deep fried's wonderful. And I usually get it with the ceviche on the side. The ceviche is good because it comes with like big pieces of shrimp, not like small like bay shrimp, but like big hearty pieces of shrimp. And the chips are nice and like warm with the perfect amount of salt. Everything has such a home touch, and it's just it tastes so good, and it reminds me so much of all the food I ate in Mexico City. Like if you go to like the Zona Rosa, it's all like the scenery, the restaurant, the decor. It transports you to Mexico City,
Right.
And the food's just exceptional.
We loved Mama Coco's. We started off the night with the masa flavored calamari, which I've never seen on a menu, and it was fantastic. We were just digging our chips in with the calamari, and I had the opportunity to have the seafood enchiladas. So good.
So good.
They were filled with
the seafood's so fresh, big chunks of it.
You really felt like you were having the crab, the fish, the shrimp inside of the enchiladas. It had a beautiful green kind of avocado sauce on the top of it with these fantastic beans. We also got to try for that night they had a pork, like a lechon, and it was fantastic, almost Cuban-esque.
Oh, you mentioned the guacamole. The guacamole was maybe the best guacamole I'd ever had.
The big chunks of avocado.
But it also was creamy, almost
creamy,
whipped as well, which I hadn't had it. When I make it, I usually make it chunky, and I like it, but this style was even better. And I also got the shrimp. I got the camarones a la diablo.
Ooh, it's so
amazing.
Yummy. So good.
Nice and spicy, peppers, onions in it. And I selfishly used the rest of the guacamole on the table to add that to the top, kind of cut the heat a little bit.
Well, you can always order more.
Exactly.
Yeah,
All right, you don't have to worry about
because
that.
it's so nicely priced too.
That's true.
Yeah.
And it was nice that it's right off the Caltrain.
Very conveniently.
It's so convenient.
Right across the
Anyone
street.
can go. And it's so family friendly.
Absolutely. There were tons of kids running around. They were going back and forth between the patio. They have a whole little play set out there meant to encourage families to come. And there was an art walk going on Friday night in Menlo Park. And
Sleepy Menlo Park has like a little punch to it sometimes, right?
Also, one of my dining companions is a vegetarian and noted how there were numerous options for her.
Vegetarian options,
We got the empanadas, which came out
Which is
piping hot.
one of their signature dishes,
Was great, especially since it has cheese in it. They were piping hot.
And what about drinks?
I got a michelada, which was, I always go for that if they have it on the menu.
So good.
And it was delicious. And then my other two dining guests got the margaritas and clearly liked them a lot because they ordered a second one apiece.
There you go.
So
I always get the margaritas. I get a strawberry margarita, and it has like a good punch to it, so it's not like super watered down.
And what about desserts?
Desserts, wonderful. So I always get the churros with like a little portion of chocolate, melted chocolate that you can dip the churros in. And you crunch it.
I'm
and
kind of getting a deep fried theme from you.
So delicious.
And we got the flan for dessert, which was great. Delicious.
Yeah.
Even though we didn't sit on that patio, it is very nice that they had that.
And it's so nice in the summer. We're drinking a margarita.
Exactly.
Absolutely. It was bright, it was colorful.
Family
friendly, well decorated, clean.
All right, your spot. Wrap it up for us, Frida.
Small dose of colorful Mexico in sleepy Menlo Park.
All right, and Andrew.
Fresh, bright, affordable, and I definitely would go back the next time that I'm down on the peninsula.
All right, and Francis.
I would say it's an upscale, family-friendly Mexican cuisine.
All right, if you would like to try Mama Coco, Cocina Mexicana, it's on El Camino Real at Santa Cruz in Menlo Park. The telephone number is 650-272-6634. It's open for lunch and dinner Monday through Saturday. Reservations are recommended, and the average dinner tab per person without drinks is around $20. One of the most widely planted grapes in the wine world is, drumroll please, Grenache. This brawny variety produces powerful wines with often high alcohol and a kick of spice. Grenache likes the sun-baked heat of regions such as its birthplace in Spain, where it's called Garnacha. In the rugged Spanish Priorat region, it produces wines of earthy intensity. If you swing up to southern France, Grenache has established itself as an anchor in the blends of the Rhone Valley, from the age-worthy Châteauneuf-du-Pape to everyday Côte du Rhône. Australia loves it in GSM blends with mates Shiraz and Mourvedre, while California has long been in the Grenache game with Rhone-style blends from the Paso Robles area. Grenache is also perfect in many of the world's rosés, from small California producers to large French ones. These beautifully hued garnet pink wines make me long for a sunny day and a European beach. Wedding bells first led Frances to her Livermore pick, where a 30-year-old restaurant sits on the grounds of a 135-year-old family-owned winery. The seasonal menu, expansive vistas, and warm hospitality keeps her coming back to the restaurant at Wente Vineyards.
My great-grandfather started the business back in 1883 on 47 acres of vineyard, and the restaurant was opened in April of 1986. I remember the day. Really, the passion behind it came from our family's belief in having great food on the table with great wines and wonderful hospitality. And I think we've done pretty well 32 years later. I'm Carolyn Wente, fourth-generation wine grower, and our restaurant is the restaurant at Wente Vineyards. We're one of the first winery restaurants in California using as many estate-grown ingredients and or locally grown ingredients. And if you think back in 1986, it was just as Alice Waters was starting up Farm to Table. And so to me, it's really exciting that we started there and we're still doing it. Our guests come here to really enjoy the wine country ambiance. And we started with great fine dining, but through the years, guests look for a more comfortable, relaxed type of experience. And so it's still fine dining, but it has a much more casual, relaxed feeling to it. To be out in the middle of wine country, to enjoy that, what's better?
All right, Frances, you got married at Wente. It is a beautiful spot, isn't it?
It absolutely is. I found Wente when I was looking for wedding locations, and then we decided to have lunch there. And so we were seated out on the patio on a beautiful Sunday, and we ordered the double cut smoked pork chop. After tasting that, we just made a decision that we were getting married there. That was it. It was going to be the best food that any wedding I had ever been to.
That would have sold me as well.
Right?
It was
The
fantastic.
food matters more than the wedding.
It does. And we had a hosted bar, and so we got to serve Wente wine, which is amazing. I love the white wines at Wente, all of the wines, but the white wines in particular, the
Certainly
Rieslings.
one of the most recognized and lauded wineries in California, absolutely. The restaurant has 750 wines on the wine list, so they've got, of course, the whole portfolio of Wente wines, but they also have a tremendous wine list, too.
The appetizers that I love, they have a burrata that's paired with a prosciutto and the toast
Or the
that's super
pine nuts.
buttered.
The pine nuts on the burrata are so good. And
great.
The burrata is nice and creamy and just delicious with the rustic butter toast.
I got the pork belly, which was Asian inspired. It was a soy glaze over some vermicelli noodles, mint, peanut. So it was very Vietnamese based. My only complaint, I wanted more of the pork belly, not because it was a small portion, it was just that good. And then I did order the bourbon glazed pork chop for my main
keep the theme going.
to keep it going, because I knew if they did that right, he was going to do the pork chop correctly, and they did.
Now, did you have a glass of the Riesling?
I had the Riesling, which was amazing. Obviously, a Wente Riesling.
Right.
And also got a cocktail called the Knockout, which was made with vodka and the Riesling. Never had that before. It was delicious. Came in a Rims martini glass, and they both were great.
Are you married yet? Because otherwise you might be getting married at Wente.
That's a great place to get married.
Possible.
I was there with a friend. He got the steak, and we kind of split because they both looked amazing. The steak was incredible, came with the chimichurri sauce, and after the meal, the chef, I believe Mike Ward is his name, came out, and after I complimented him on the steak, and he said to me, well, you've heard the ad, happy cows come from California. I said, yeah, and he goes, well, those are our cows. Okay, why? Turns out they feed their cows 2 glasses of red wine a day, kind of a marinating from inside out thing. And
No, it's true. It's true.
We give them a bottle a day. Dump it into the bucket and it slurps it up and it helps them metabolize.
And it was that tender and that amazing, and it made complete sense once he told us that.
So tell me a little bit more about the pork chop.
So the pork chop was like a big portion. It was served over polenta, like creamy, nice creamy polenta and some delicious vegetables.
What really brings it home to me is it's smoked and it tastes like how my grandfather used to cook. He was a Southern chef, and so I got to wake up on a Saturday morning and smell that aroma, and when I taste that pork chop, it reminds me of him so much. So it really pulls me back into that restaurant.
And they have a really focused sort of estate meat program, if you will.
A friend of mine who is a foodie said it was the best meal he had ever had. When we got the appetizer of the soup, and it was a roasted cauliflower soup, and it might have been the best soup I've ever had. Smoky, creamy, big portion, perfect, appetizer before getting into the mains.
What about the duck breast?
The duck breast was fine. It was a little salty, it was a little chewy, it tasted more like ham. But I loved the atmosphere. I loved the place. I would, when I get married, that is just like the place to get married. It's just
the Livermore Valley is very
Livermore
historic
Valley
for
is so
wine,
wonderful.
and this is one of the oldest family-owned, continuously operated wineries in the country, and the restaurant is 30 years old. I mean, that's
beautiful. It was stunning. The price that you pay a price for the place.
And did you have Wente wines with it?
I
or
always
did you have other wines?
I stick to Wente because that's my favorite. It's what I get when I go to the grocery store, and it's what I get when I go into the restaurant. I was able to have the dessert as well. I did save room because I know how great their desserts are.
The desserts. Go straight to the desserts.
Okay, here we go.
I had the green tea panna cotta, and it has a strawberry ice cream and this sesame brittle that just offset the creamy and sweetness with it. It was amazing.
It was so good. And I had the Japanese cheesecake. The Japanese cheesecake is like, it's a fluffy, a little dense, and it doesn't have a crust. So it's like a dense whipped cream. And it was just wonderful. I had fresh strawberries too.
We got the chocolate torte, and it had a almond cookie on top. That, for me, was on top of this world, and I made sure to let the pastry chef know that that was unbelievable.
And did you have a torte and a port?
A torte and a port. The Petite Syrah 2015, which they recommend on the menu to pair with that, which went ideally with it. And then just to go back, you said you sat on the veranda. The one thing that we learned is, and I'm a music guy, they have summer concerts out there
they do.
right off that veranda.
Yes.
So I think I would absolutely love to go back for that.
All right, Francis, your spot. Give us a quick summary.
It's a seasonal wine country restaurant that's great for a special occasion.
All right, and Frida.
Scenic restaurant with wonderful desserts and good views.
All right.
Gorgeous restaurant, amazing food, and somewhere I would absolutely go back.
If you would like to try the restaurant at Wente Vineyards, it's on Arroyo Road in Livermore. The telephone number is 925-456-2450. It's open for dinner Tuesday through Saturday with lunch Friday through Sunday. Reservations are recommended, and the average dinner tab per person without drinks is around $50. I have to thank my guests on this week's show. Each one of them chose a family-owned business. First, Andrew Dowd Riley's pick, whose fragrant food is matched by the warm welcome from its owner at Cuisine of Nepal restaurant in San Francisco. And Frida Garzaro always saves room for the churros at her colorful, warm, and family-oriented spot, Mama Coco, Cocina Mexicana in Menlo Park. Finally, Francis Hebert, who took us out to the vineyards for the local seasonal menu paired perfectly with their own wines at the restaurant at Wente Vineyards in Livermore. So join us next time when 3 new guests will recommend their favorite spots right here on Check Please Bay Area. I'm Leslie Sbrocco, and I'll see you then. Cheers, and cheers to you all. So now it's your turn. We want to hear from you if you visited any of our Check Please restaurants. You can post a selfie on Instagram, join the conversation on Facebook, and tweet us anytime. And don't forget to visit our website. All the shows are there, along with my wine videos and notes about the wines we drink on set. You'll also find our fun new web series, Taste This, where we celebrate food and drinks around the Bay. Cheers.
Check Please Bay Area is made possible by the members of KQED and by Oakland International Airport, now with flights all over the world. iFlyOAK.com. IRG has thousands of surfaces in stock now. Surfaces. Selection, service, IRG at marblecompany.com. Total Wine & More, offering more than 8,000 wines, 2,500 beers, and 3,000 spirits. Total Wine & More, now with 8 Bay Area locations. TotalWine.com. Sutter Health CPMC announcing its newly opened Mission Bernal Hospital with all private rooms and comprehensive labor and delivery services. SutterHealth.org/Mission Bernal.
Redwood Credit Union, community banking for the North Bay and San Francisco. Business and personal, online and mobile, plus nationwide ATMs. Banking for people who call this place home.